I just did yoga, so if I look kind of sweaty or ratty in any way, that's why. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Frankie and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. It's the middle of the year, so you know that's about the time where people start doing this mid-year book freakout tag, and I thought that I would join the trend just as a way to introduce you all to my channel. Again, this is my third ever video, so that's exciting. And I wanted you guys to have some more context into some of the books that I've read this year, and books that I liked, books I didn't like, that kind of thing. The first question for this tag is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? This is really hard for me to answer because I've read so many good books this year. It's hard to pick just one. And I'm probably not allowed to say a series, but I'm going to have to go with The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. The Raven Boys was the first book that I read this entire year, and I really started off the year super strong because I love this book. I love the other three in the series. I connected with the series so much. The characters, the writing style, the plot, everything about it I absolutely adored. It's one of my new favorite series of all time. I think it's like pretty lucky that this was the first thing that I read this year, and it was literally one of the best things that I read this year, and I will honestly always treasure this series. Even though I'm probably not allowed to say a series for the answer to this question, this has been my favorite book of this year so far. The next question is, what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? And for this, I'm gonna actually go with a book that I just finished, The Lord of Opium by Nancy Farmer. This is a sequel to The House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer, which I just talked about in my June wrap-up. After I finished The House of the Scorpion, I wanted to read The Lord of Opium, which I've never read, even though I have read The House of the Scorpion before. I did really like this sequel. I thought it built really well on what we already knew about Matt, our main character from the first book, what we already knew about the world. It answered a lot of questions. It left some still hanging in a way that I kind of like. Thought it was a really good sequel, and I really appreciate it. Really glad I read it. Next question is, what is a new release from this year that you haven't read yet but you want to? I don't really keep up with new releases a lot of the time. I still have like a lot of backlist books on my TBR that I still need to get to. But for this question, I'm definitely gonna have to go with Love List by Alice Oseman. This came out literally just a few days ago, but when I'm filming this, and I pre-ordered it, but it's coming all the way from the UK, and thanks to COVID, it's taking a little longer than expected. So hopefully it will be coming in the mail soon, and I intend to read it as soon as I get it. So hopefully that's soon. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? For this one, I'm going to have to go with Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. This is coming out on July 17th, I think, so super soon. Lindsay Ellis, I know her from YouTube and I love her videos. I think she's like really smart. I'm really interested to see like what she does when she's like writing a book instead of like writing video essays, you know? So I'm really excited to read this, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next question is, what has been your biggest disappointment this year? For this one, I'm gonna have to say Normal People by Sally Rooney. My mom read it a few months ago and she thought I would really like it, so I kind of went into it thinking that I would like it too. But I just didn't really vibe with the characters or their relationship. I definitely didn't hate it by any means, but I just didn't like it as much as I was anticipating, and that was a little disappointing considering I'd heard so many good things about it from so many different people. The next question is, what is the biggest surprise that you've read this year so far? For this one, I'm going to have to say Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I really thought that I would not like this book as much as I did. I thought I would kind of read it and be like, oh yeah, I see why this is popular, but it's not my thing. But it was actually, in fact, the opposite. This is very much my thing. Really love this book, love the characters, love the story, love the heist plot line. I talked about it in my June wrap up, so you could go check that out if you want to hear my more cohesive thoughts on it. But I really, really love this book, and I was so surprised by how much I love this book, and I literally cannot wait to read the sequel. This is literally my third attempt to film this part of the video because my phone keeps running out of space and I'm stupid. And I need to film the second half of the video, and I've tried so many times already, so if I look different in the first half than I do now, just know that's why. And if I also sound tired and more dejected in the second half, that's also why. The next question is, who has been your new favorite author for this first half of the year? This could be a debut author or an author that's new to you. And for this one, I'm definitely going to have to go with an author that is not a debut author, but she's new to me, and that is Maggie Stiefvater. Are we surprised? I read The Raven Cycle at the beginning of the year, like I've already said a million times, and afterwards I just had to pick up Call Down the Hawk. I just love Maggie Stiefvater's prose. I love her characters. I love how unique and interesting her stories and plot lines are. I'm so excited to read the rest of the Dreamer trilogy, and I'm also really excited to pick up some of the other books that she has written. The next question is, who is your newest fictional crush? And for this, I'm going to have to go with Cameron Post from The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. This was one of my favorite books of the year. It's also one of my favorite movies, so it's got a lot going for it. And Cameron Post, who is the main character, is really spunky and fun, and I really love her. Definitely have a little bit of a fictional crush on her. So yes, love Cameron Post, love The Miseducation of Cameron Post very much. The next question is, who is your newest favorite character? For this, I'm going to have to go with Noah from The Raven Cycle. I know you all want me to shut up about The Raven Cycle, but I just love Noah so much. I couldn't not talk about him for this answer. He is my boy. I just love Noah. I can't describe why, but he is my favorite. Next question is, what is a book that made you cry this year? I don't really cry a lot when I'm reading books, but I definitely did have an answer for this question. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I read this at the beginning of the year during what I would say was a pretty tumultuous time in my life, and I found myself really connecting with the characters and very invested in the story of this book during that time in my life, and when I got to the end, I did cry a little bit. So the next question is, what is a book that made you happy this year? For that, I would gonna have to say Kill the Boy Band by Goldie Moldavsky. I don't think a lot of people have heard of this book because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. It's basically about these 4 friends who are really big fans of this boy band. They really want to meet them, so they get a hotel room in the hotel that they know that the boy band is staying in. The story really kicks off when one of the girls sees one of the boy band members in the hotel hallway, and she tackles him, knocks him out, and then drags him back to the girl's room, and they kind of tie him up, and then from there things just go insane. So this book is super fun. It's like a dark satirical comedy, so it's very fun in a very twisted way, and it really made me laugh a lot, made me smile. I really enjoyed it. It made me really nostalgic too for my fandom days. So that also made me really happy to read, and I think that if you haven't read it and it sounds like something you'd be interested in, you should definitely check it out, because I think this is a seriously underrated book. The next question is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year? I don't buy a ton of books, and I didn't buy a ton this year, but for this one I would have to say The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I love Station 11, and I love Emily St. John Mandel's writing style, so I was really excited to pick up this book, and I love the cover a lot. I think it's cool. It's got a cool like sky going on here, like a very nice mysterious island. I like the spine. I like how it's different from the cover, and it's got like broken glass. How intriguing. Very beautiful. Very excited to read this. The next question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I still have 15 books left on my 2020 TBR, so I thought I would just run through all 15 of them really quick for you. So this might be a little long, but you know, the question asked, so I'm delivering. Persuasion by Jane Austen, Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, The Best American Short Stories of 2019, edited by Anthony Doerr, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, A Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab, This Big Boy, IQ 84 by Haruki Murakami, On Writing by Stephen King, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, The Collected Writings by Zelda Fitzgerald, The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald, Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabrielle Garcia Marquez, Solitaire by Alice Oseman, and finally For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. That's a really long list. Hopefully I will get through all those books by the end of the year. Crossing my fingers. just gotta believe in myself. Finally, the last question of the tag is, who is your favorite book community member? Now, I am very new to the booktube community, as you all know, so this was a little bit hard for me to answer, but I'm going to have to go with everybody who has subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and supported me in any way since I started this channel literally only a few days ago. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys are all along for the ride and interested in seeing what I'm going to be creating, because I'm really excited and interested in seeing what I'm going to be creating too. That's a little bit of a cheesy answer, but honestly, it's the truth. Now we're at the end of the tag and the end of the video, so I'm going to be saying all of the end of video things. So please like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned and what you've thought of them. In the description are my social medias, so feel free to follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, or Goodreads. And finally, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really excited about this channel, as I've been saying at the end of pretty much all of my videos, and I'm really excited to keep creating, so subscribe if you're interested in seeing what I'm going to be doing too. Thanks so much for watching.